Hello there, good morning to you. This is Kakaaki Social. I'm Obozeghie. Now, Rivers State was at the state of unrest on Tuesday with agitation, protest and counter-protest over tenure expiration of the elected chairman and vice chairman in that state. Well, the governor, Sim Fubara, had in a statewide broadcast early on Tuesday directed the heads of local government administration to take charge of the councils until further directives are given. But then the chairman, whose tenure constitutionally expired on Monday, June 17, say they must remain in office.
This is the local government chairman's car, so he left it. This is George Arolu's car. He live and run. He live motor run. Carry bad boys who live everywhere.
You know, go continue to the chop. You say no one come out. Now Papa has. Now your bedroom. You no go work now. Wicked time don't pass. Wicked time don't pass. That one a story. Weekend a old story. If you go to me, how much you go in house go rest. All the legal. Weekend no go. He want to Jagaban. Jagaban no only one. Only one. Weekend no go feed the Jagaban for Rivers State. No way. They never born and well. Mr. President, that this is the time for the Constitution of Nigeria to be upheld. The governor of Rivers State has brought back insecurity full-blown into Rivers State. He has gone to the creeks, he has hired gunmen, they have come in, they are shooting at local government chairmen, they are shooting at local government councils, they are taking over councils, they even shot policemen.
Okay, that's the situation summarized in Rivers State right there. Let's now take reactions and see what is happening at this point. So our first one is coming from Henry Shield, who says, I have never heard where local government chairmen in Nigeria will fight a governor to retain their seats after their tenures have expired. What is happening in Rivers speaks volume of what Sim has had to endure in the name of civility. We don't take a quarter of this. And Reliable says, I don't want to hear democracy in danger. Whenever the real power play starts, you guys are supporting Fubara because you believe in enemy of my enemy is my friend, and you are applauding Fubara for indulging in illegality because it suits your agenda. And more reactions to this development today is coming from Fola, who says infrastructure or monument built is a crime and an unjustifiable act in a civil space. Wike and Fubara are 6 and half a dozen, and both are pushing self-serving political interests. Sadly, the poor are usually cannon fodder in elite wars. And then Momo is advising that Wike is in Abuja relaxing, Sim is in government house chilling. Do not die in their war. Don't lose your life for any politician. Based on the development that have been happening just recently, and this is not news that you need not to die for any politician, because even their children, they know they did. Okay. But then it seems we have finally been told the reason the old national anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee, was reverted to. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio tells us that if it wasn't ever changed to the now deposed Arise O compatriot, insecurity wouldn't have ever made it to Nigeria. Well, in a visit to the Nigeria Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILT, he says the reintroduced version would address insecurity and promote loyalty to the country.
Is reverting to our old national anthem. A lot of people are not aware that there was a panel set up made up of Nigerians to receive inputs from all over the world in 1959. So when people are saying, oh, we are bringing you colonial anthem, please look into the history of the Nigeria we held the. If we kept to that national anthem, we probably would not have banditry today in Nigeria. But if you take your neighbor as your brother, you will not want to kill your brother, would you? Yes. If you take your neighbor as your brother, you will not want to go into the farm to behead your brother.
Okay, how did this meet netizens, you would want to ask? Albert says this is not the same Akpabio, our former governor, and he's covering his eyes in shame. And Sheun says, point of correction, Mr. Senate President, no national anthem has ever curbed insecurity or built patriotism anywhere in the world. Justice, equity, and fairness do. In a nation where those three things are lacking, insecurity will prevail and citizens will not be patriotic. And then for Miriam, it says, if you are your brother's keeper, you won't be receiving over 29 million naira per month and be advocating 60,000 naira as minimum wage for your neighbors and brothers. Final thought would be from Basil, who says, it's under that anthem we experience the civil war and numerous coups and the southwestern political crisis. So stop capping, Oga. So basically, capping is Lamba, Lamba is capping, and the two of them, they are interchangeably used for telling lies. And then this is a video on the social media that is making rounds of women. I'm not sure where this is from, but they have remixed the new national anthem. That's the reintroduced national anthem to the words you will hear them say.
Nigeria, we are hungry, no food, no light, no water, pepper is cost, garri is cost, we can't even buy rice. See our children hungry, no food, no light, no water, pepper is cost, garri is cost, we can't even buy rice.
Okay, so that's that about that. Now, as the debate and justification for the recommended 2 aircraft for Mr. President and his vice Tinubu and Kashim Shettima continue, the presidency has responded to Peter Obi's condemnation of the planned purchase. Well, Obi had on Monday on X slammed the idea, asking the government to focus on alleviating the suffering of the people instead. But the presidency is asking Obi if he wants the president dead by continuing the use of the old aircraft. Well, in Bayo Onanuga's voice, who responded, he says, does Peter Obi want the president dead? Is that his wish? Does he want him to continue moving around in a rickety plane and die like the vice president of Malawi and the Iran president? Let him tell us. The plane he used now, I learned, was bought during former President Obasanjo's era. That was over 20 years ago, and I learned it was a very small plane. The plane developed a problem the last time he traveled to Saudi Arabia. The president had to go from there to the UK on a commercial airline. Even those managing them said the aircraft needed to be replaced. Now, you know that the House of Rep Committee on National Security and Intelligence, they made this recommendation, and people are saying that, oh, we heard that the president's aircraft developed fault, but which of you is a technocrat that we can actually rely on their investigation, and is this sponsored by the executive? And those are the thoughts right there. And people are also asking, what's the problem, what's the fault in using a commercial aircraft? But Innocent says, Mazi Peter, please get your popcorn, then sit and observe like the rest of us. No amount of sense can make a nonsense person have sense. At this point, we say, don't leave me, don't leave me. And then for Austin, he says, there's really nothing wrong with purchasing a private jet for a president. But what matters is if it's the priority as at the time of the purchase. For one would wonder how the advisors would advise for the purchase of a yacht, the building of a 20 billion naira home for the vice president, and now the purchase of a private jet in the face of the very harsh and harrowing economic situation in the country. Why all the spending when the country cannot comfortably pay a 60,000 naira minimum wage, even as the prices of food and other basic items have gone haywire? Where is the leadership here? But then agreeing with the recommendation is Caleb, who says, honestly, Sha, if the aircraft are more than 20 years old, let them be replaced, please. This one no be joke. And then this is Alhaji Ibrahim Kabir Masari. He served as the placeholder vice presidential candidate for Tinubu before Shetima came up. Now he's serving as a political advisor on an aide to the president on political matters. So just yesterday, we shot our day, and then we now saw that he said that this is his official portrait. People are like, the aides used to have official portrait. What was going on here? But after the bash, like, uncle, what's going on? He finally took it down. But let's look at this portrait. In the rule of portrait, you know, portrait is a kind of photography, right? It shouldn't be as wide as this. This is looking like unaware. I know that sometimes you stage unawares now and I say, oh, it was taken of me. But for portrait, you look directly into your camera. You are aware the photographer is doing the job. And then it's not usually as wide as this. And then this is history. Like aid having an official portrait. What for you, Zam? Are you going to give it to your president, who is your executive, your boss, to place it in his office? Those are the questions. But then he has taken it down. Maybe he wants to do some more work because it's even looking like a phone, you know, picture where they use phone snap, but he has taken it down, as I said, because of the, what is the meaning of this that he got. So yeah, our verified portrait, and he even tagged the president there on social media, on Facebook and on X yesterday. He was the placeholder for vice presidential candidate before Shetima came on board. So yeah, that's how we call it a day today on Kakaaki. So